Right, so we're gonna go in. You just seen in that last video, last picture that I had posted, I showed you a level finder. Now that level finder is from levels 2 to levels 10. With Gavidos, what we're going to do is we're going to take them from his natural base, which you've seen was about a 4 or 5. We're going to take him from that and we're going to take him right up to a level 10, and then we're going to make his hair nice and platinum. Now Osmo's just created this new phenomenon, right, when I can forget it the right way around, that, oh, it's backwards, which is an additive which goes into your bleach powder. Okay, so with Gavidos hair being so dark, it's sort of like in between a 4 and a 5. Obviously the main colour and that's going to be red. It's got a lot of red to break down. Now the opposite of red is green, so we're going to add the additive to the bleach powder, and that's going to help tone the hair as it lifts. So it's going to reduce any sort of yellowness that comes out once we've lifted it out. So I've mixed everything up, I've weighed everything out. I'm going to put 3 pumps of this in, and I'm going to use it with 20 volt. We're going to apply that onto his scalp now, and then we're going to sort of pull it through the ends, because his hair's not really that long, so it'll be fine. So it's going to bag everything up. We're just going to put it onto the scalp, pull it through the ends straight away, and bag it up, and then we're going to see the finished results with the additive in straight away, and then we're going to work a nice colour and nice tone in from that. So let's see how this 9 levels of lifts new platinum Osmo colour goes. I'll keep you updated as we go, but we're going to use the green additive, and the reason for it is because it's level 4 and 5. I'll explain a bit later on about the rest of the colours, but for now I'm just going to tell you about this. This is going to use the green one. Alright, so I'm going to crack on, get this colour on, and I'll come back in a minute. Right, so last video, I just did like a little short one about basically putting the colour on. Obviously I'd sectioned it off, and I wanted to put that video on to show you that you need to layer it on like a cake. You don't just brush it on, because if you're brushing it on, you brush the product back off. You want to lay it on like a cake. So you've seen how much product I had on the brush. I made sure I had plenty on like a little bead, and then once I'd got me little bead, I then applied it directly onto the scalp to make sure that I had a nice thick layer. The application of your bleach is key to your lift. If you don't put enough on, or it doesn't penetrate all the way through, you're never going to get that clean lift. So we've used the green additive, like I've said. We've used 20 vol. I've put it on the top section first, because the top section is longer and it's further away from the scalp, so it's going to take a little bit longer to lift. The back and sides are going to come up really fast, because it's really short and it's really like close to the scalp, so we knew that's going to happen anyway. And I've put the colour on before I'm going to cut it, because when you're doing skin fades and short haircuts and stuff like that, you know, and you are scratching away at the skin a little bit, you know, if you do take any sort of little nicks or anything like that once you've cut it, and then you put a chemical on top, it's going to sting, it's going to irritate the client's scalp. So for me, my advice to you is, if you're going to do a cut and colour service in one day, which is what we're doing here, you want to be making sure that, especially if you're working with skin fades or something that's really short, you want to make sure that you put the colour on first, so you make sure you don't irritate the scalp, and then once you've done that, then do your haircut once you put your colour on. That's cooking away, so we'll see what that's like. I'm going to give it 45 minutes or so. We'll come back and check it, and see where we are from there. So check back in a bit. Right, so yeah, that's you seen how clean that was. Sorry that took so long to post that last video, that just wouldn't upload. So you've just seen the video there of the colour being put on. That's on now. Like I say, you've seen obviously the additive do its job, so it's basically neutralised the yellow tone, so it allows you just to basically just go straight in and stick your toner straight over the top. So obviously if the hair's dark, we're going to use green, obviously, to kill off those red tones. If it's, you know, sort of medium, sort of 6, 7-ish, you know, you're going to be using your blues, and if it's any lighter than that, you're going to be using your violets, and you add them into your mixture, and that's just going to help clean out the bleach. So when the lift does come off, when the bleach, the lightener does come off, it's going to come off nice and clean, and it's going to give you a really nice finish. So I can see the toners on there now. I've used 10-1 with some pearl intensifier for the majority, and then I've just added a little flash at the front. I've used the medium graphite. We've used the new Osmo 0.5, which is sort of a 1.5%, which is brilliant. It just deposits, so it's just, you know, there's no lift there at all. So if you're going to get a service and you're going to touch up the tone, you know, you're not going to. Right, so that's it. Done. So you see the colours nice and crisp, nice and clean. Did like a, you know, not an everyday haircut, but you know, a nice sort of something nice and choppy, something a little bit different. But like I said, be creative as you want to be. You know, I mean, you know what today was about the colour and how to get it that sort of colour, and you know, you can take it to any level you want to take it to. You know, so I just applied a little bit of what I knew, mixed it in with a little bit of colour, and it doesn't make the whole image pop. So I'm gonna get these. I've done some photos. I'm gonna get these edited up, and I'll post these after this video. But hopefully that's helped everybody out. Hopefully you know a little bit more about it, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you like the finished result. He did, I did, and that's all that matters, really, isn't it? Laters. Well, that was supposed to be my day off. But I went in to do that model anyway because I wanted to use the new Osmo. I wanted to see what it did, and obviously you've seen the results. So like I say, this is me finished image. I've just posted it before there. I've just finished editing it. So when I edit a photo, you know, I never touch the hair ever. I think if you touch the hair or change it in any way or add colour to it or, you know, sharpen a line up or anything like that, it's sort of like detracting away from your work, kind of gives a false impression. So, you know, if someone was to look at one of your photographs and be like, oh wow, I want my haircut like that, and you can't do it because you've edited on the computer, you know, that's something that you don't want to give out. So, you know, when I edit, I never touch the hair. I always leave it as it is. I just sort of touch up the skin and improve the photograph as much as I can in terms of skin and sort of atmosphere around it and darkness and whatnot. Like I say, I'm learning every day with photography. It's, you know, I mean, photography's getting better, I suppose. But it's not, you know, what I do is I cut hair and I colour hair and I put hair up and I do things with hair. That's my main job. This is just a hobby. So like I say, for those of you who do over edit, don't over edit photographs. It tears away from your work. You know, make your skill set better, you know, and learn and improve and make it so it's actually real. Don't fake it on there. But other than that, like I say, today's been a joyful day. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you like the finished edit, the finished photo. You know, I think Osmo will probably use it somewhere along the line. But yeah, that's me. Peace.